I am here. I am back. I did promise that I wanted to try and do these once a month. I believe that I missed January, so that's on me. But I'm enjoying doing this.
I am here.
Right?
I am back.
Because I need to
I did
reduce this
promise that
audio.
I wanted to try and do these.
Are we still perfecting how we do this? Last time we had trouble getting the comments from Instagram on my iPad. I usually would have the iPad to watch the stream on Instagram because the comments from Instagram do not come into StreamYard, which is a platform I use to stream to the various platforms that this is streaming on right now. And so we had to switch to the phone midway. This time I use a phone from the start, set it to do not disturb so people can call and, they're not harassing me, but calling in the middle of the day. I really want to make time for this. So thank you very much for making time. As you can see, the topic is below. Today's Wednesday Wisdom is focused on working smarter versus working harder. This is something that I think many of us have heard people say, but we don't really necessarily understand it in practice. I think that a lot of us have heard the concept or the quote that hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. I'm going to repeat it. Hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. This is something that I came across when I met a former NFL player who had successfully built a packaging company. And we were at lunch in Orlando, and he said that was the most important thing he learned as a professional athlete. And it's good for us to understand that because a lot of us have some talent, whether it's in the business world or music or sports. We have a talent for something, and then we don't put in the work to become really good as well. We just ride on talent. And for those of us who played sports at any serious level, we know that to get to that level, all of us had to have a certain amount of talent to get to that level. But when you're there, you're almost all equal. As you puts in the work, that's going to the next seat. Talent only gets you so far. And you have to remember that. Talent only gets you so far. Well, I believe that smart work beats both, right? Smart work beats both. What do I mean by smart work? I like to use a simple story when I talk to people about it. Imagine that your job is to dig a hole. So you're part of a construction team. You need to go to a road, and in the morning, the foreman then says, go and dig a hole. So one person decides, great, I have 8-hour shift. I get paid X dollars per hour, and they go and dig a hole. At the end of the day, 5 p.m. they come and they want to punch a clock and say, pay me for my hard work. Right? Digging a hole is hard work. And the foreman comes over and says, but you dig the hole in the wrong place. It's on the wrong side of the road. That was working hard. That's not the same as working smart. Too many people focus on just working hard. The person who's going to work smart is going to ask some questions before starting the work. Number one, typically they're going to ask, where do you want me to dig the hole? They're going to ask how wide the hole need to be, right? What's the circumference? How deep you want the hole to be. Those are 3 very important questions to ask. Where, how wide, and how deep. The smartest person among us is going to ask, why are we digging a hole? They want to understand the problem that you're trying to solve. Then they might even give you some feedback and say, actually, I think it could be done differently. But at least helping them to understand why allows them to be a better worker, what I consider a more efficient worker. Efficiency means being smart, not just working hard. And that is the difference. A lot of people, especially on the entrepreneurship side, decide they're going to work hard at growing their business, when in reality, they should be working smart at growing their business. You work hard at your career. You work hard at this job. Should you really be working smart at the job, though? That is what I try to get people to think, the people who work on my team as well. That's what matters to me. You want people who are intellectually curious, who are going to read up things, and then ideally find someone somewhere who has tried it before and failed and tried it and been successful. Right? Working smart means learning from the mistakes of others so that you don't make their mistakes. You do not need to repeat mistakes. So you're going to start a business. There are a whole bunch of books on starting businesses. There are a ton of stories on failures relating to starting business and on successes. So you can go in and say, great, here are the things that I need when I start the business. Here's how I can think about pricing. Here's how I can think about hiring. Here's how I can think about profitability. Here's how I can think about tracking the financials of the business. Here's software that other people have used and what their reviews are of the software, whether it was a fit for them or not. In fact, the smartest kind of work is to work in that business somewhere else first. And that is why when you look at the most successful entrepreneurs, they tend to actually be older than 40. It's not the Facebooks of the world. Those are outliers. That's why we talk about them so much. You've worked in the industry for 20 years. You've built up a network. You understand the pain points. You understand what works. And then you can leave. You have a little bit of capital they can put in. So you have time, right? You might even be able to borrow against your home. You get a home equity loan. You start the business. You have the first clients that they can find or the first customers. You have experienced teams that they can bring to come and join you because you've met these people. And you understand what needs to exist. That's reality. And you'll be surprised if you go and look at who the most successful entrepreneurs are based on an age cohort standpoint. So focus on working smart. I want to impress that upon people as much as possible. And that means being a student. Nothing is wrong with being a student. You should be a student for life. You should be always learning. I remember I was very disappointed. I believe it was a year ago. I met somebody. I won't say which country or where, but I met someone in a country, not here in the US. And they realized who I was. And so we ended up having a conversation. They worked somewhere and I knew of the company. I said, oh, what is your goal in the next 5 years? I love to ask people that. I want to understand where they see themselves at some point in the future. 5 years to me is an easy one to answer. I don't need to know where you want to be when you retire. I will get to that later, but let me ask where you see yourself in 5 years. So you see yourself here. Okay, great. You want to own this kind of business doing microfinance is what they said, right? Lending to small businesses. All right, good idea. What have you been reading related to starting a business, scaling a business, or getting into microfinance? Oh, no, man. I haven't read any books since I finished university. Really? You work in a corporate job and you have stopped reading books when you finished university. To me, that's wild. I could never imagine somebody actually saying that to me. I wasn't raised that way either. But I was shocked that there are people who don't like to read, not even I say watch a video about a book, anything. Nope. But they want to launch a business and expect to successfully manage that business. They don't have an MBA, they did a bachelor's degree, you're not interested in reading? Nothing, no case studies. You don't read business news, you're not reading any book. You have no role model that you want to study and understand what it took to build that business. My head exploded. And I had to give them some homework. I was just genuinely, of course, is a young black male, and I was very disappointed when they answered that. So, guys, ladies, please read. Use AI to help you read synopsis. Watch a YouTube video that's a synopsis on the book, something. But be hungry for information. It can't hurt to know more, right? We're told knowledge is power, right? There's that joke about if you want to hide something from a person, you put it in a book, right? Most knowledge is in the library, these things. I mean, imagine that we have the most information at our fingertips in this day and age. And we have people who are dumber than ever. They're ill-informed. I've seen More Life Capital dropping a message here on Instagram saying, "Can you share the recommended methods to improve productivity?" So he's bringing up the Pomodoro method, which is not something I jump on either. Time blocking, automation of low value tasks. Thanks also. Loved your Captain America outfit. I did wear my Captain America, the new one. That's from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I wore it. Actually, I wore it last night to watch a movie at Disney Springs, and I wore it with the family to a con a week ago. So again, I love that people see all of me. They don't just see the business side of me. They see the fun side as well. But so in terms of recommended methods to improve productivity, for me, it really is going to come down to what works best for you. Right. So I'm going to talk about what I do to maximize productivity. And I'm a big fan of things like Bill Gates' Think Week, where he takes time to just really go and read stuff, get smart, and then can apply that to a strategic thinking level. How can this benefit the business? I love learning from other people. So looking for people who are domain experts and then speaking to them. So on the AI side right now, I'm having other people share with me, here's what's happening. Here's how this is being used for images. Here's how this is being used for content generation. So they are already experts and then they share with us. So I think that's really important, to bring in expertise and have them present to you and learn from them. It's no different from school when they brought a guest speaker into your class and you learn from them when you take notes. So I think that's really important. Did anyone take pictures with you last night? Yeah, for about 30 minutes, I was taking pictures last night. Kids, adults, grandmothers, it was awesome. It was awesome. I love the questions coming to Instagram. I will post a video later. You guys will see a video about the experience. We don't have all the picture taken in there, though. Those people face. I didn't want to do all that, but that's fun. So again, we're talking about productivity, right? For me, it starts with one thing, right? We hear about KPIs. A lot of us hear key performance indicators. That's not where it starts. I really focus on a book by John Doerr called Measure What Matters. Repeat that. Measure What Matters. In that book, they talk about OKRs, objectives and key results. This is what they used to build Intel, what they used to build Google. So I am a proponent and supporter of OKRs. They come up with no more than 4 objectives. So objectives are broad-based. Objective is to go public, for example, or to list on NASDAQ. So you have an objective, and then you have key results that will lead to that happening. So in order to list on NASDAQ, for example, in our case, we need to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. We have very specific key results. From those key results, we figure out what people have to do. We can now assign tasks to achieve that. This is thinking out strategic planning. So it's important to understand where you want to go first, objectives, and why. Here's the objective. Here are the key results that allow us to say the objective has been completed. And then here's what we need to do to achieve the objective. Those are your KPIs. You're tracking them. So if I want to be able to run 100 meters at 10 seconds or less, that's an objective. Run 10 seconds or less. Here are the key results. There are certain things I have to do. I have to perfect my start. I need to get out the blocks within 0.x seconds. So that's a key result. And then I need to go and do something to get there. So I'm going to start practicing and timing it. That's a key performance indicator, and I can track as my exit block speed drops. So that's an example of how you break it down from objective, key result, and what you actually do, key performance indicators. That then informs your strategy. So that's something that's important to me. The second thing is, of course, is actually planning out your calendar. Right? I actually have something here. So this is my book, my favorite book, and I found a document online, and I created this one. It talked about how to use entrepreneurship to get ahead of 99% of people. So for me, I call this about turbocharging efficiency. That's what it says in the book. So in the book, they said number 1, right? What you want to do is you need to automate systems and people, right? Automate systems and people. And it says number 1, create your dream week. So there's this nice visual here. The light kind of rough on you, but see it there? So look at that. So you create your dream week. So now from a Monday to Friday, we want to figure out what are we doing each day, right? We don't get to stick to it every single week. I travel. So I don't always follow this, but at least I know what my dream week is. So yes, on Monday, right, every morning I start with meditation and I go for a morning walk. So I go for a walk in nature, help to clear my head. On Mondays, I focus on writing. I want to write something, whether it's a letter to someone or write a post, write a column. I want to write something, get stuff out my head on the weekend to think, read, write. On Tuesdays, I try to shoot content. I want to film something. I'm going to get ideas out and record this to go and post later. So I'm filming or editing, right? On Wednesdays, I'm writing again. I want to write again. News is coming out. Things are gelling. I'm meeting with people. Wednesday is my slowest day. I block out most of Wednesday to have clear time. I try to do as few meetings as possible on a Wednesday. That also helps me if I have any last minute meeting. Wednesday is the best time to schedule my meeting. So my Wednesday, the middle of the week, is not my busiest. My Wednesday is used to evaluate. I was working on these things. Where am I now? Am I behind or did I get it completed? Why am I behind? And then we're going to now go to that matrix that talks about urgent. I'm going to post that picture. Right. Thursdays, the goal is to record a podcast. So we work on the podcast. And then Fridays is to schedule the following week. Right. On Friday, you're going to look back at what was I supposed to accomplish this week? What did I accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? The things I didn't accomplish need to move into next week. And I need to understand, why did I not accomplish them? Is it my fault? Am I the bottleneck or is someone else a bottleneck? And then I can follow. So that's how I approach my week. And then you have what are called anti-goals. Not goals, anti-goals. So in here for me, no morning meetings. I want my morning to get my day going. Right? No negative people and no bad vibes. So once I get negativity from the person, I shut them out. I don't need those negative people around me. I need to focus on positivity. I want growth mindset. I want positivity. I want the we can do this attitude. So those are my anti-goals. So number one, create your dream week. Number two, create systems and assign people. Right? Even if you're a solopreneur, you one working on something, you need to delegate. Somebody's helping you, right? A lawyer is external. They don't work for you. They're not inside your business, for example. You need to assign resources. You work in corporate Jamaica, corporate America, corporate Barbados, wherever. You have other people, other responsible parties, RPs. So figure that out and say, hey, this person in charge of this, right? In some cases, you don't get to delegate. So you need to understand who is the responsible party for something else. Who was it delegated to? When it's not you, because it affects your project anyway. It affects your deliverables. It affects your timeline. So you need to know the lay of the land. So to create systems and assign people, I look for 4 W's in life is what I wrote down. So number one, I want to be able to control where I work. I want to control when I work. Right? I can do this right now. Technically, this is work, but I can do this right now in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. I want to control what I work on. That takes time. I want to control what I work on, and I want to control who I work with. Right? That, in my opinion, that's my personal goal. You might agree with them. Number one, my 4 W's in life: control where I work, control when I work, control what I work on, and control who I work with. 4 W's. So in terms of the systems, we need to first come up with a vision. Right? These are things that I feel are important. So what's the vision for this business or for this project? Right? I need to talk about the community. I need to have content for them. I need to have an audience. I need to create a funnel to get to that audience. So you need to figure out hiring people. We need to figure out onboarding those people, training them. We need to have a dashboard so we can track things. Just, guys, I need to know what's happening. Whether you're raising money and you brought in people to raise money, you need to track all these things, right? You need to have data, access to data. Where's the data? Where can I find these documents that were needed? Where can I get a report on where the money went or how it was spent? What's our email marketing look like, right? The bounce rate or the open rate. So those are the kind of things I look at. And then lastly is automate operations. So you figure out what do you need to get done, and then how can you manage a team and how can you outsource. So in our case, we have Slack for internal company communications. We have Asana for actually assigning things to people so we can track, assign, and not sending an email. Right? We want to minimize email in our organization, to be honest. So we'll minimize phone calls. I can't track the phone call. I don't want to be using WhatsApp to send you something and assign it to you. I put it in one place. It's in Slack. I talk to you about it. In Asana, it is assigned to you. And then you can leave comments on Asana. I don't need to call you and ask what's up. I can just read your comments and see what's happening. There's a date that's assigned. And if a date have to move, we'll know ahead of time. Not, oh man, this is going to be late. So we want that, right? In terms of the financing side, we use Xero to look at the accounting things. And we have an outsourced CFO services firm as well for that. And then we have auditors. So you have to have that. And of course, we have Google Suite for Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, all those things. So that's internal. We chose that one. And that's why we look at it. What are the things that we need for our kind of business? And we evaluate every 6 months. Do we need to upgrade? Do we need a better CRM? Should we move into HubSpot instead? Is MailChimp good enough? Do we need to use Constant Contact, right? Always be evaluating as you grow and think through that. You're not wedded to it from day one. So I hope you're understanding how I think about productivity. This is important. Well, let me see if I can pull this up, because the most important thing is actually figuring out what you actually need to do versus what you don't need to do. Life is really split into need to haves and nice to haves, right? Need to haves and nice to haves. And too many times we confuse the two. We think that something that's a nice to have really is a need, and it turns out it's not true, and it causes us to focus wrong, right? You focus on the wrong thing. And so let me see if I can find this. I have the image here. So you see, you guys, I never planned for you to show you this one, but you guys are always always ask questions, and I have it sitting down here. So this is preview. That's not what I need. I am going to open my photos because I have all these presentations. I should actually just go through a presentation one day on some of these things that I have a business one, right? So I might actually do it. We're pulling it up now. So I have an overnight success presentation, but that's not the one that I want. I have a good to great presentation. And so this is it. I have the one that I want, so I'm going to pull this up. This is from my good to great presentation I've done a few times. So let me share screen. I'm going to pull up the window, and here it is, guys. I'm going to make sure it's actually showing up. Oh, right. I forget I have to add it to the stage. That's kind of important. So look at this. Take a screenshot of this one. For me, start with this. High priority, high time spent, low priority, and low time spent. Where are you spending your time? A lot of us don't stop and think about it. Are you spending your time on the most impactful things? Are you spending your time on the things you are best at? If you're spending your time on stuff you are not best at, and you have someone else on the team who's better at it, then you're not being efficient. You're not working smart. You're working hard. Yes, I know Canva allows all of us to feel like graphic designers today. But if you have access to a graphic designer, actually trained person, let them handle that. They will do it faster than you and better quality. They'll actually do it better and faster. So allow people to do what they do best. So think about the quadrants that things are in. So that's what I would say. Start with that. Focus on these quadrants and make sure that you're doing the right thing. So obviously the quadrants speak for themselves in terms of, right, top right. This is a quadrant we want. High priority, high time spent. It's good. It means you're spending time on things that are important to you. This red one is bad, bad, bad. This is bad. It means you're spending a lot of time on things that are not important to you. Try to move these to the left. You want to move. These are things where you're spending high time, but it's low priority. There are a lot of things that we spend time on that are low priority, and you need to get that off your desk. You want to move things into low time spent, low priority. If it's low priority, you should be spending low time on it, right? If you're doing it, if it's in that quadrant, it means that you aren't spending much time on things that aren't important to you. If unnecessary, try to eliminate altogether. Try to eliminate low priority things. Figure it out though. You need to be able to figure out quickly. Is it high priority, medium, probably, or low? Assign everything. I got through that on a Monday. What's high priority, medium, low priority, and communicate that with people. There are people who reach out to me all the time. Hey, David, I want to have a call with you just to catch up or to find synergies. I'm automatically low priority. Here are my high priority things. That causes them to respond and say, okay, no is not the right time to talk, or they're going to change their tone and tell me the real reason they reach out to me. Simple as that. Right? We don't have time for small talk and banter. People who are focused on being productive want you to get to the point. Here is why we need to talk. Bam, bam, bam. They can then assess the priority and the urgency of it. So it's important that we think about that. So that's one. Let me look for another one that we have now. And this is a fun one if I can find it. Let me see. This should be here. No, that's Apple one. So yeah, there's another one that helps you to think through that priority stuff. What bucket does it go into? And I might have to Google it. I sure I have it on here though. I am pretty sure I have it on here. Any more questions while you do that? You can type them in the chat. Not related to Captain America right now, guys. We want to stay focused. I know some of you going to post that in there. So let me look and see the next one. I want to try and find this other one for you. I'm very visual, and this is a visual medium, so I like that. But of course, man, we had 16 people live on Instagram. I really appreciate Instagram. That's where I get the most rewards from, I would say. All I know I share it with people and they engage with anything else. So I'm not seeing this one that I want. I have a very specific one in mind. Oh, see it here. I'm gonna find it. I found it. Look at this, guys. Screenshot this one too. Extremely important. It's your urgent, important matrix quadrant. You need to be able to separate things into one of these four, right? So you have urgent and non-urgent. You have important and not important. Those are the four things something can be tagged with, and it creates a quadrant now. So if it's urgent and important, it's a crisis. Oh, big up Michael Powell. He's on LinkedIn. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate LinkedIn viewers. LinkedIn tends to be something people watch afterwards, not live, to be honest. So I appreciate that. Now, maybe one day people will watch more live on LinkedIn. Instagram is more home base. All right? Urgent and important. Those are crises. You have to drop what you're doing and you have to deal with those. Urgent and important. Now you need to look at what is non-urgent but important. So these are the things you've actually set as goals. These really are your objectives and key results. This is what you're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. Non-urgent but important. Of course, we have two other categories. You have things that are urgent but not important. Is an interruption, right? Guys, I don't need a proposal to invest in something or to sponsor an event in 6 weeks' time that was never brought to our attention before. That is definitely urgent to you, but it's not important. That's an interruption. Understand when somebody's interrupting you. You don't have to say it to them and make them feel bad, but they are interrupting you. So you need to keep that in your mind. Oh, that's an interruption. They're making it seem urgent, but it's actually not important, or it's not important for me. It's for somebody else to deal with so they can pass it on. Know what it is, right? Quickly be able to recognize by having that framework of what this is. You can categorize things quickly. Same thing with, of course, distractions are not urgent and not important. We have a lot of distractions in our life. In fact, the majority of things that come at us are distractions. And we feel bad telling somebody, you are distracting me. Right? When you sit there trying to type an email and somebody come and jumping in, Guys, you don't see I'm literally trying to do work, right? If you have children, you have been there. And you have to say, hey guys, for the next hour, I'm going to be doing work. And you hope you can lock a door. Right? If you want to study, you can lock a door. I don't have a door to lock where my studies at home. So when my kids get home at 4:30, work have to stop. They deserve my time and attention, right? Let's start with that. They deserve my time and attention. And I'm not going to be getting work done anyway, because they're going to distract me. They're going to want to talk about their day, talk about tomorrow, happy to see me, great. And so instead of being distracted and being upset, whatever. When they come in, if they see me recording, right, I'm here doing an interview, they know not to come and jump in. They wait until my Zoom call is done. I try not to have calls go into when the kids are home. So for me, it's 4:30 they get home. Not a 5 o'clock thing. But I'm mostly working from home. If I know I'm going to have a late thing, I go to the office instead and I come home late and do it that way. So understand these 4 categories. Is it crises? Is it goals and planning? Is it an interruption or is it a distraction? And then please categorize them quickly and then allocate your time accordingly. That's what I would say is crucial from a productivity standpoint. You need to know what you're working on, why you're working on it, who is helping you work on it, by when it is due, and then figure out urgent or not urgent, important, not important, because things are going to come at you. In my case, it's even crazy, right? The more visibility we get, the more publicity we get, the more people feel like we have money to go and invest. Announce a deal or announce this, is the more people that come to us for money, for investments, for jobs, etc., for sponsorship, for charity, for donations. And it's like, guys, we are not at that stage now. So we have to be able to just say, oh, this is a distraction, or this is not the time yet. This is an interruption, right? You must control your time. And the only way to control your time is to have people understand how you value your time. Here's the phase we're at right now. Here's what is important to us. So I love responding to people on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I appreciate that you want to do a meeting with me. Send me what you want to meet about. I'll figure out who on the team to assign it to. Or it might be me. But just tell me what you want. What you're looking to accomplish, right? I have somebody for business development in the US, somebody for business development in Jamaica. I can assign it to that. I have somebody that's a chief innovation officer, can look at the startup stuff. We can pass that out. Or you're looking for charitable stuff? We don't have that right now. I'm sorry, come back in 6 months when the Blue Moho Charitable Foundation exists. Right? We set aside things and delegate. Just ask. It never hurts to get clarification from someone. So I see Daniel Simmons here on Instagram asking, are you blunt? Are you blunt when it comes on to low priority things, especially when people suggest urgency on their part that benefits them? Oh boy, that's interesting. So I was raised not to be blunt. I was raised to be diplomatic. So I tend to try to be as nice as possible when saying something to the person. So the first time I respond, I won't be blunt. I'll be very diplomatic. Here are my priorities right now for Blue Moho Capital. We need to complete our fundraising. We want to handle relationships with the service providers for a NASDAQ listing, and we want to ensure that we break ground on Penn Village and deliver houses. Those are our 3 priorities. If your meeting is not related to one of those 3 things, right? You're writing a check to Blue Moho, or you're opening a door to get a check into Blue Moho, fundraising. Or, as I say, you're helping us with service providers to go public on NASDAQ, or you're helping us break ground and build houses at Penn Village in Jamaica, Old Harbor. If it's not one of those 3 things, it's not urgent. It's not a high priority. So let me know which of these is it related to. That's all I do. I just say, which of these 3? And when they come back, oh, no, I was really talking to you about you investing in my thing. I have this idea, or I want you on this board. Well, I'm sorry, it's not one of those 3. Let me see if we can still have you talk to somebody, though. And then I'll pass them off to somebody. That's really what it is. Unless it's, I want a donation. It's charity, and then we just say, guys, we're not there yet. I appreciate that, but we're not NCB, we're not Apple, we're not one of these big guys yet. We are literally a startup, so we're not at that point yet. So sorry, we can't just write a check to donate. We need to go and make money first, accomplish these things, then do it. After you see us announce that we're listed on NASDAQ, come and ask us for money all you want, no problem. If they then come back anyway and have completely ignored what I sent them, I'll be blunt at that point. So you get one chance. And after that, it's not 3 strikes you out, it's 1 strike you out. I said, here are our priorities. This is not one of them. And that's it. Right? Some people take offense to that. Oh, you think you're bigger than me, or you can't make time for the little person. Or... It's not about that, you know. It's that you are seeking to take something from me. You want to be a taker. You want to take time from me, from what I need to get done, and you're not offering to help. You're not offering to be of value. So I'm very careful of takers, right? I call them vampires, energy vampires. When people say others who they feel are successful or have something that they can benefit from, some of them feel like you are obligated to them. You are not obligated to anybody except your immediate family, I'll be honest. Right? I'm obligated to spend time with my wife. I'm obligated to spend time with my children. That's the deal I made. That's why we got married. We have children. I'm obligated to them. I'm obligated to my parents, in my opinion, right? Honor thy father and thy mother. And I'm obligated now to shareholders. I'm obligated to people who we borrowed money from. So if I've taken your money, I have an obligation to you. We keep you posted, we update you. If it failed, we'll let you know it failed. We have obligations. Otherwise, we have no business relationship. I'm not obligated to even respond on LinkedIn or a direct message on Twitter or a public message, right? I don't owe anybody a response. I've been taught, entitlement issue is massive, 100%. People feel like they're entitled to their money, they're entitled to your time. No, they're entitled to your knowledge. No, you're not entitled to that. You have to earn that. And something has to change. I feel that is increased. This entitlement mentality has increased, and people reach out to you. I love when somebody reaches out on social media and I reply, and they shot that I reply. And I say, great. I love that you took that leap of faith and you asked. Not enough people do ask for something. We set up a quick call, 15 minutes, and I'll do a call. I just did 2 calls with University of Miami students recently, just earlier this week. And I love that I made time for these people. It's just 15 minutes out of my day. I might learn something from them too. It gave me a chance to share something and pour it to somebody. So I love doing this. Doing this is make time for what matters. I make time for this because I get to pour into other people, but I also get to learn from some of you on here, maybe most of you or all of you, right? If you'd share, I learn. So this for me is great. This is important to my success and my growth as a person. But at the same time, too many people feel that you posting publicly gives them access that they actually don't have. They feel entitled to you now. It's the same way that, oh, you're a movie star, you're starring a movie, and then when you're out at dinner with your wife, the people come and ask you to take pictures with you. It's like, yo, I'm not working right now, right? It's as if I know you as a bank teller and I see you on Saturday out at the restaurant with your wife or with your husband and your children, and I can come over to you and ask you something about business. There's a difference between saying hi, I recognize you, and hey, can I take a picture or can I have this, right? They're not working. And so I think we need to be careful about that, right? As we're talking about, it's funny, we're talking about Captain America. I remember the only time I've ever met Anthony Mackie. So years ago, my brother and I played in the Irie Weekend Celebrity Golf Tournament. So this is DJ Irie in Miami. He's a DJ for the Miami Heat. He does a big charitable event, a sequence of events in usually mid-October. And so the golf tournament was Friday. We were playing at Miami Beach Golf Club. I was working for a hedge fund at the time, and my brother came as a +1. He wasn't playing. I was on a foursome. But before we kicked it off, there was a breakfast table, and it was Anthony Mackie, Alonzo Mourning, and some other people there. And I remember coming over to him to say, hey, I know you're eating, really a big fan of what you're doing, love what you're doing. I'd love to be able to take a picture if you get a chance. And him say, no problem, I'm eating. And I was like, yeah, man, no problem. I'll go back and sit down. The way he said it came across a little, I didn't like the way he said it, but it also made me check myself and realize, you know what? I should have waited until he had completely finished eating. The man have food in his mouth, him scrambled eggs with the dudes laughing at them, and I interrupted them. Yes, I look up to him as this black actor, really love it. I mean, the Marvel movies. I had to recognize the mistake I made. Thankfully, he was still somewhat gracious. And we didn't take pictures after that, but we did get to shake hands after that. Right? That same event is when I met Kevin Hart and some other people. And from that experience, I refused to do that after that. If they're eating, I'll just wave and acknowledge their presence and let them, I'm gonna know who you are. Leave them alone. I'm not walking over to the table in the middle of that. So all of us all of us have somebody we're going to fangirl over. Let's just admit. And you might have to try and control this, right? But there's a time and place for everything. All of us have been taught this. There's a time and place. So yeah, man, I think that we have to learn that it is not what you say, it's how you say it. It's funny, right? I got advice from former chairman and CEO of Grayskin, Douglas Lurie. Douglas is a Harvard MBA, served as a senator in Jamaica, one of our most successful entrepreneurs coming out of the Caribbean, one of the most successful in the Western Hemisphere. Great guy. And I remember talking to him. This man, and I asked about, this person asking for this, and I want some advice. And he said, David, no is a full sentence. You do not owe anyone an explanation. You can just say no. Full stop. It has a full stop. It's a full sentence, right? No is a full sentence. I said, oh man, but I feel bad. And he's like, yeah, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to say no and then give some explanation. And then the person in their head then says, oh, that means no, not right now. I'm going to come back. Or they're going to try to point out why explanation don't really fit their thing, because they're focused on getting what they want when they want it, right? Everybody starts off with, here's what I want, and I want it by this time. They don't care about your priorities, your time in your financial situation. They're focused on them. And that's always a red flag. What you want is people who are focused on what you need, which means you need to also be focused on what other people need, right? It's reciprocity. Here's what I need to accomplish my goals. Who can help me? Great. What do I need to provide to them? How can I be of value to them so they can help me achieve my goals? Right? Too many of us focus on just, yeah, man, this is what I need to get done, and then we think selfishly. We have to think mutually, right? Stop thinking selfishly and think mutually is what I would say. So seeing Vince here saying, looking for the senior keynote this week in Miami. So this Friday, I believe it's a lunch keynote, which is a fireside chat. I speak at the Angeles Investors meeting. They have a big event. This is the largest group of Hispanic angel investors in the United States. Have me for a fireside chat keynote in Miami on Friday. And yes, we will get video. I will make sure we get video and have good audio for this. Actually, I'm gonna test out. I got this new Synco wireless mic set up. There's 2 wireless mics. See how I'm having fun with this stuff. So I got these, and let's see how that works. Because I have Rode wireless, but those are just single. So actually, I need to test these. Well, this is fun. This is fun, guys. I appreciate these kind of things and sharing. I hope you're getting a better understanding of how I view working smart versus working hard. Right? This is me personally. This is not saying this is the right thing for everybody. I'm just saying what works well for me, what has been working well for me, and what I try to stick to. I try to pass this on to my team as well, but that's how it is. So Daniel again saying, I remember you speaking on impact and the reasons for why you wish to be a billionaire. I wish to do the same, especially with contributions to education and innovation. So, of course, not everybody needs to be a billionaire. Some people don't care. I understand that B, right, that adjective makes a difference. We live, for the most part, in a capitalist world, and people tend to equate money to power, money to influence, money to smart. So we've learned that it don't matter. The richest person in the world don't mean you're not smart, to be honest. So, but it's important, right, to be part of the conversation. It's easier when you have that B or you're a centimillionaire, right, worth more than 100 million. It matters. and you have more influence. You can pay for certain things, you get more visibility. Your words go further, even though it's the same words, and you're the same person in terms of framework and approach to thinking. You get more credibility, and that's just life, right? So, to me, somebody's going to make that money anyway. Billionaires exist, more billionaires will be created. I might as well go after some of it myself because I know I'm going to use it for good. Don't really care what anybody else uses it for. I know what I'm going to do. I know how many millions of people I intend to help. And so that is important. This guy is saying, do you think the Caribbean can mint an engineering-backed billionaire or engineering-based billionaire? He only asks because that's what he is. You're an engineering student. Well, you didn't say what kind of engineering. Hey, big up Silburn out in the UK. So you didn't say what kind of engineering. Are you talking about computer engineering? Or are we talking about, oh gosh, I was going to say what other civil engineering, right? We have other kinds of engineers. You have engineers who work on infrastructure. You have engineers who work on computers, which is also infrastructure, is IT. So Daniel, be more specific. I don't think you can mint US dollar billionaire that focuses on engineering in the Caribbean unless you invent something, and it would have to be incredible. He's mechatronics engineering. No, you're gonna have to specify what is mechatronics. You're gonna make me Google that. No, mechatronics engineering. No idea what that means. So I know a mechanical engineer. So please, Daniel, just go into some more detail so all of us can get smarter on this one. I'm very curious. Your focus is on robotics. Ah, okay then. You could have said robotic engineering then. So that is doable. It is possible for someone from the Caribbean focus on robotics to become a billionaire in US dollars. I don't want you to get obsessed with becoming a billionaire, right? That's a great goal, but even if you fall short, it would still be amazing. It means that you had to deploy capital in a way, allocate, build a team, identify opportunities, manage them well. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, robotics without question is the future, right? We've had what four revolutions, right? We talk about the industrial revolution, information revolution. We had an agrarian revolution. So without question, robotics is the now. It's not even the future. When you look at what people are building, you look at Boston Dynamics, for example. You look at how much we've used robotics in manufacturing, especially for cars. So there's no question that robots are coming for our jobs. It's not immigrants coming for our jobs. It's robots coming for our jobs. There are things that humans physically can't do. The robot can do it, or the robot is more accurate in doing that. So inventing or being someone who is part of the team that invents something in robotics that then improves lives, solves a problem, reduces cost, increases efficiency and productivity, not a bad thing at all. That's a real opportunity there. So I would say yes, you can, but it requires invention. You need to own something. You help create that patent. You help to design something. And then that thing solves a problem beyond the Caribbean. You don't become a billionaire by only solving a tiny problem. It has to be a big problem. You don't have to be a big market, but it has to be a big problem in the chosen market. So it makes sense. You're pursuing robots in agriculture. Boom, look at that. When you talk about food security, that is a big problem. When you talk about climate change and it's getting hotter, you just have farm workers out there, right? We've seen the mechanization of farming. The Caribbean is significantly behind in that. Can the robots go and pick the mangoes instead and grade the mangoes? Huge opportunity. So without question, there's an opportunity there. But make sure you take your time to learn, right? Being an entrepreneur early on is not necessarily the smartest thing, right? Test some stuff, but go and work inside, learn, work with a startup, get experience, get excited, then step away, and you have more of a cushion and runway. You need that runway, and you'd have built up some relationships. I think too many founders jump too early. So that is an opportunity though. So I love that. Yeah. Keep me posted. I'd love to hear more, Daniel. Send me a private message. I'd love to hear more about what you're working on, and even probably see it in Jamaica. Talk some more. Do a demo. Show me what you're actually working on. Something that you think is cool, or something you've been studying elsewhere. Right? It might be in Singapore or Netherlands or somewhere, and you'd love to see it come to the Caribbean. Here's your approach. There are things that we can take from developed countries and essentially break it down and then rebuild it in our own way, right? Reverse engineer. China has done that a lot. India has done that. Reverse engineer it, or build a better mousetrap for our region, for our economies, for our price point, for our climate. So I love that. And to me, that is working smarter. That's not just working harder. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to find better applications for the wheel, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Find better applications or new applications for the wheel. That's how I would look at it. So I'm saying, all right, no problem, sure. All right, well, we still have some time. I do have a hard stop because today at 2 p.m. I do my annual investor update call, and we're going to be taking questions. I am still trying to decide if I want this call to be streamed live like this, or if I'm only going to go and do it via Zoom privately. By now, I'd wanted to do one that was public, but I don't know. I will decide within the next hour. It is a Zoom call, but you can always broadcast a Zoom call as well. So I don't know yet. Odds are I don't broadcast it and keep some stuff close to our chests instead. We are a public reporting company, but we will file those reports. We don't have to put everything out because we're not publicly traded. We're not there yet. So we have some cool things, and I love it. Oh, look at this. And say, just saw the email, do the next one public. Yeah, man. So this one now going to be public. I like this. This is one of our earliest investors, Matthew. So the next one, we'll do quarterly. So we'll do a quarterly call in April, and that one can be more public to everyone this way. The way this is streamed, we could do it this way, and I'll probably do it from Jamaica or Barbados, to be honest. We're really excited. So now, man, shoot me some more questions while we're here. The topic was obviously working smarter, not harder. I hope that I've shared some really good stuff with you guys about that and how my brain works. And of course, that question about being blunt, I love it because it also allows me to just triage people, right? You can tell how somebody responds to that message if it's somebody even want to do business or not. If they feel entitled to that, or if they feel offended that you care so much about your time and productivity, then it's a problem because they don't value their own time. They don't care about their productivity, or they just want what you have, right? Or just want your time. Those are takers. I've learned to stay very, very far from takers and far from people who have takers in their inner circle. I just don't need them in my life. I don't need to do business with them. I want to keep them as far away from me as possible. And that's life, right? Nothing wrong with that. Life is much simpler if you avoid takers, right? The vampires. So more questions. We have 15 of you on Instagram. Share, guys. Feel free. Don't feel that I'm not getting the answer, right? I love that we have people who maybe they don't want to ask stuff in public, but they message me later and ask stuff to follow up. So, and of course, those of you who are going to watch this after it's live, right? It's going to be recorded and posted. Post questions in the comments and I'll answer them. Maybe I'll even answer some of them on air next month. Right? That's what I'm going to call it. But yeah, we're still not at the point where I can set a specific date every month. Hey, the third Wednesday, that way we do this. I can't yet. I really need to be flexible to move around. We have not hit some of the targets I wanted to hit by January 1st. So we're doing it. Here's Purposely Driven. Good afternoon. Kindly recommend some books. Recommend some books for a person in business. So Purposely Driven, you need to send me a direct message and I'll reply with my entire book list. It is a specific set of books and it is in order. I have a specific order to read those books. And then I have a set of videos as well, key videos to watch that are related to someone in business. I love sharing that kind of information. So anybody that wants it, just send me a direct message and I can give you access to it. I think that it is so important. And you don't have to read the book cover to cover. Don't be afraid, right? I have a whole set of books here, right? I read them. I've read them cover to cover. But you don't have to. You can read summaries. You can watch a YouTube summary video. You can have AI summarize it for you and get the most important nuggets. Then you can always take the time to then go and read it. I do realize that not everybody can make the same time that I can make, for example, or That's just the way it is. Life happens. Things happen. But I would encourage you to make the time to read. Right? I am behind. I have 2 books I'm reading now. Well, 2 I need to read in an order, and I need to just set aside some time when I'm here at home in Orlando. Priority of my time is to spend with my kids. That's the highest priority. So I'm not here reading and sitting while they're here reading. I'm hanging out with them, I do stuff with them. And then when I get to travel, then I take the books with me and I can read a book or 2 and go from there, because that's when I don't have the same time obligations. I can go to the beach, I can read a book for 3 hours. So I travel again on Friday, and I'll be gone. I'll be away from home until at least March 3rd. So I will have time to finish 2 books and come back. So I'm excited about that. I'm seeing Asha saying, are you able to answer any questions on Jamaican banking and mortgage companies? Yeah, no, ask a question. Ask a question and I'll see if I can answer it. I'm happy to share some information. I see Derval is asking, can you recommend a few financial service company stocks that you like? Andor watching. I like that one. And then this person says, I want to start a business, but can't find the motivation to start. What would you recommend? Oh, that's an interesting one. All right, so I'll start with that recommendation question on the how to get motivated. Then I'll go back to Derval about the financial stuff, and then I'll look for Asha to ask some questions about Jamaica banking and mortgage companies. I'm curious to see that. So, Chrisan, what I would say in terms of motivation, you have to be intrinsically motivated, right? It has to come from internal, otherwise you're going to give up. And in my opinion, you have to start with clarity of purpose, right? What is my purpose, and then how will this business feed into it, right? I want to be X, right? In my case, I want to be a positive role model for young people around the world, especially young males in Jamaica. So I start with that as the purpose, and a clarity of purpose. And I figure out here are 4 options, 4 ways that I can accomplish that. And then I settled on one way. Now that I've settled on that one way, I had to then become successful. What business, right? I know I want to be a successful business person. I can use it for X. So it wasn't just about money. It's not about financial freedom. It's not about being able to jump on a yacht and fly private. Those are bonuses, but that wasn't the reason to go and create the business. Being a successful business owner allows me to be a positive role model, right? So those are the things. So now what business am I going to start? Well, I need to find something where I am solving a problem for people and I enjoy solving that problem, right? And then I am good at it. Right? I can learn to be good at it, or I'm already good at it. So I think that for you to be motivated, you have to start with that. Why? Why you want to do this? And it might be as simple as, I want my children to be better off than I was after my parents, right? Generational. That's actually a decent reason. So when you say, you know what, here's my life today, here's where I want my life to be, and I'm fed up with where my life is, that's motivated, right? If you want to lose weight and you look in the mirror and get on the scale and say, man, my bikini don't fit me right now, or in my case, my suit pants, the expensive suit pants was no tight and can't wear, and I've been over and it split down the back. That was embarrassing. That motivated me to lose weight. So I've gone from 218 pounds in December 4th, December 3rd, to 204 pounds now. I've never eaten this much salad in my entire life. But I'm motivated because I'm also seeing results. So sometimes it's that you get fed up with something, or you want to get somewhere. So I think those 2 things are, figure out which one it is for you. Don't just jump into any business because I think you can make money fast. It has to be, I want to solve this problem, and it falls within my ikigai. That's what they call it, right? I'm good at this. There's a demand for it. People will pay for it. So hopefully that is helpful, Chrisa, right? Just evaluate where you are today, where you want to be. What are you doing to get there? Are you happy with everything in your life now, or is there something that you want to be different? Well, if you need something to be different, you got to put in some work. And we have to just put in the work, and we're not going to get immediate results, right? I've lost 14 pounds already. This belly hasn't gone down as much as I want. My abs, I still can't see my abs, right? I've been very honest with you guys. Can't see my abs. Belly don't jiggle as much anymore. So I do feel good about that. And I've gone from size 36 to size 34 already, which is great. Right? I used to be at 32. One more, you get there, but it's going to take time. You can't do that in just 1 month. That's not healthy. It's certainly not safe. So I love that. Of course, this question related to asking about which financial firms I'm excited about. So I'm not going to name any of them. I'm not naming any of them specifically, right? Our portfolio is not publicly available. We share it with our investors, our shareholders. But what I would say is this: I look for financial services firms that are run by capable management who are prudent managers of capital. That's how we want to look at it, right? So capable management and prudent allocators. That's what Leachin and I would say are crucial. Those are important. So has there been any management changes recently in financial services firms? Whichever country you look in, I would look at that. I would look at what they're trading at. Are they trading above book value, on par with book value, below book value? Any financial services firm that trade below book value, to me, is a buy. It's very hard. If management is sensible, then I don't see why it won't eventually at least normalize to book value. Right? So PB matters to me. Price to book value does matter to me. It's not automatic buy, but it's close, right? Good management first. That is what matters. Are the numbers going in the right direction? Has it been there before as well, right? Was this a fall from grace and it's coming back? We've seen that happen in the past to American Express, to Wells Fargo, Bank of America. A lot of these companies, a lot of companies go through that, right? Ebbs and flows. Apple has had this happen. Microsoft has had this happen. Facebook has had it happen. So it's normal. So do we believe that the management that's in place now can help them to bounce back? So I look for signs like that. So obviously there are some in the US, some in the Caribbean that we are excited about. And then there are others that are just great. And you just want to own them. For 10 years, 20 years, I just don't even stress. I would buy Berkshire all day. Right? I consider that somewhat of a financial company because of their exposure. So I hope that gives you some idea without me calling out some exact names other than Berkshire. And then, of course, I've seen Asha saying, so this is a question related to finance and mortgage companies in Jamaica. Is there any oversight committee or regulatory body that makes decisions about how these loans are processed from these banks and institutions? And so the answer is yes, right? These are highly regulated, right? Financial services in any country is highly regulated. I don't even just mean regulated, highly regulated. The maximum interest that they can charge, what they can use as collateral, all these things are governed by the regulatory authority that is usually the central bank, right? So in the United States, the Federal Reserve is actually the main entity that regulates banks. So the Federal Reserve regulates banks here in Jamaica. The Bank of Jamaica, the central bank, regulates banks, regulates microfinance companies, and now also regulates investment companies. That used to be the FSC, the Financial Services Commission. In the US, the SEC still regulates investment companies. So in Jamaica, the Bank of Jamaica is the regulator and all those things, right? The fees that they can charge are ultimately determined by the Bank of Jamaica. You can only do so much with a private business that is designed to make profit, though, right? The private sector, not the public sector. So they can't get down to too much in the nitty-gritty of how to run your business. So I'm not sure exactly where you get into on the questions, right? In the United States, we had the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau who would sue these companies for cheating people and capping overdraft fees and fine them. In Jamaica is the Central Bank of Jamaica, right? You can complain to the Fair Trading Commission about something, but it is the Central Bank of Jamaica that is the regulator for financial services companies down there. So it sounds like you have some complaints. I would love to know. You don't have to name the entities, but I would love to know what it is that it sounds like you. Well, why? Why are you asking if there's an oversight committee or regulatory body? That's what I would say. Asha, I appreciate that. I see Andre jumping on and then hey. To me, that's a UM symbol too, So let's train up the U. Obviously, we got University of Miami over here. Where's Sebastian? Sebastian, yes, it's Sebastian right there. Right, so as you know, I'm vice president of the alumni board of directors for University of Miami. So I support those things, and I was very happy to see in Captain America: Brave New World, the new Falcon was wearing a Canes shirt, a big University of Miami logo on his shirt in a gym scene. Look out for it when you go and watch a movie. And you should watch the movie, to support the movie and the story behind it. It's not Winter Soldier, I'm not going to lie, but it is what it is. Do I? No, I moved I was looking for my shield. I have 3 shields. I'm looking over at 2 of them right now. I was about to pull up the shield and show you guys a shield here, but all right, guys, we're going to start winding down. I do have a 2 o'clock investor call. This is my annual investor update call. So we do typically within 6 weeks of the close of a quarter, we do a call to update investors on where things are, what's happening, how we did that quarter. We do one for the year, I write a report, I do a chairman's letter. So we're going to be upgrading that now. So I'm going to do a letter every month. So I essentially going to do a memo to investors and prospective investors every month. And that's shared internally. That's not something I publish out to the public. This is not like Howard Marks's memos from Oaktree Capital Management. So pretty excited about moving to a monthly reporting schedule. Just on just quick updates. This is not heavy on financials and so on. That's not what we're reporting to people at this point. We do have some big announcements in March and April, and I want to prime the pump for that in terms of internal, so they know what's happening, what they can do to help, right? There's no such thing as too much communication, right? I'd rather over-communicate and then somebody say, oh, that's too much, I don't need all that information, versus, boy, I don't hear from you in 3 months, I don't hear from you in 6 months, what's happening, right? And often cases, it just went to their spam. It's scary. So that's not my fault, right? Of course, when we don't add their email address to the platform, to our mailing list, that's our fault. That is our fault. But I've been told the one way to get around that is just message everybody on WhatsApp as well. So I'm about to go into WhatsApp, send a bunch of people this annual update, and then go from there. So it's going to be fascinating to the questions that I get and prepare for those questions. And just did an interview digitally via email for a news organization. They said the deadline is next week, Monday, talking about FDI, foreign direct investment, declining in the Caribbean except for DOMREP and Guyana. 4 really interesting questions, and I made sure to send my part. So some people might feel that I get some licks unfairly. So be it. I didn't call any names, so let's see what happens. I've seen somebody asking, will you be opening up your investments to Canadians soon? I love that question. So for full transparency, this was always designed to go public on a major US stock exchange. Then anybody around the world could invest. So that's when the Canadians will be able to invest. That's when people in the UK, anywhere else could invest, right? Raise privately in America, go public, the whole world can then invest. So we are trying to stick to that, right? It costs a lot of money. Let me just explain something. It's going to cost me $100,000 just for the audit for Blue Mountain Capital. We have to pay the auditors $100,000 to audit the entity to then go on public. It cost me $55,000 just to apply to list on the NASDAQ. So that's $155,000 out the door, right? Every time we go into another country to raise money, that's an expense. You're going to call it about $50,000 to pay the lawyers and the regulators, because we are raising money via regulated entities. We're not just doing some fly-by-night, put our money in this thing and launch. That's not the approach we're taking. We're doing it via regulated offerings. That means if we went to Canada and went to the UK, that's another $100,000. Call it $50K per location, and that's not even travel yet. That's just paying service providers to go and open the investment. So that is why we're not anywhere else outside the US. We're about to have something in Jamaica, thankfully, but for the most part, we're not looking to spend money on doing individual country raises. We want to get the thing listed and everybody then gets access. So ideally within the next 6 months, Divine, you are literally going to be able to have your investment account in Canada that you used to buy shares in Google, Apple, Blackstone, and then you just say, yeah, man, I want to buy Blue Mountain Capital. That's the ticker symbol. I want X amount of shares. And you buy. That is the goal and has always been the goal. So will we be opening it up to Canadians soon? That's the plan. but you just buy the stock on the stock exchange. Just tell your broker, you buy X and go from there. That's the plan. And we continue to push on that. So really excited. I'm going to wrap this up in 4 minutes at 1:15 so I can take a break, drink some water, trying to decide if I'm going to wear this for my investor call or I'm going to switch to something else. I'm still rocking the African prints. It is Black History Month. I want to make sure that I am supporting that in the way I look. So, but I might change. You know how you go. And I'm not putting on a jacket though. I don't think I'm going to put on the jacket. So of course you say, okay, great, looking forward. Is there any pre-IPO offering? Yes, that's why we have an offer in the United States available right now. You've been able to buy since May 8th of last year. You log on to www.islandforward.com. So here's the website. You log on to this website right here. As a US person, right? So US Social Security number, or a tax identification number, or an entity that has an employee identification number, can invest under Reg CF of the Jobs Act and buy a minimum of $500 US worth of shares at $10 per share in Blue Maho Capital Inc. There's also an option for a bond for those who want to do that side, and that's $100 minimum, paying 10% a year semi-annually over a 5-year term. So the pre-IPO shares are what is for sale here at islandforward.com. We will have a Jamaican entity that does own some pre-IPO shares. We're still going through the process to be able to raise money into that vehicle. I have to actually review the documentation from the lawyer after this call that I do at 2 o'clock with the shareholders. And so if there's an announcement to be made publicly, then we'll make it in Jamaica. We want to do things by the book. So there is a Jamaican entity that's created, Blue Maho Capital Appreciation Limited. It owns pre-IPO shares in Blue Maho Capital Inc. It's essentially a fund that we've set up in the Caribbean, and it is going to be listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange as well. We haven't decided junior market or main market as yet. Gives you access to some other investments as well, not just Blue Maho. So it's a diversified portfolio, but it's still highly concentrated. So that is the way that local Jamaicans who are not US persons will get access. And then once it's public, anybody in CARICOM can buy those shares as well. So yes, we have a solution in Jamaica, and obviously we are focused on the US right here, right? islandforward.com. So I appreciate that you're interested in our pre-IPO shares. Feel free to drop me a private message, Asha, as well. We're going to be doing a series of investor events. We're going to do some events here in the US. We're doing a roadshow, and then I will do a private event in Jamaica. Private, invite only, to talk more about what we're doing and where we're going. We have 2 things we're going to list on the Jamaica stock market, ideally by the end of this year, certainly within the next 12 months. And so we can do private investor meetings. We can't generally solicit in Jamaica. In the US, we can generally solicit, thankfully. We can't do that in Jamaica. So I love that you guys take Wednesday Wisdom to ask me about Blue Maho, though. Nobody separates the 2 things. And that's fine. I love transparency. I'm big on that. I think my lawyer would say I should put this up for a little bit. So yeah, man, you'll be in touch. I appreciate that. 1:15. So going once, right? I'm going to give you guys one last chance to ask some questions before I need to end the stream and go and drink some water. Freshen up already. I had to trim yesterday before I went and dress up as Captain America, obviously. Although this Captain America is a little bald, as you can tell. You see how shiny it is. That was funny. But hey man, any last questions or comments before I jump off and close this off? So Jordan said, nice broadcast, David. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, man, I look forward to the next one. I would love to do one live in Jamaica. It'd be so awesome to do a Wednesday Wisdom live with an audience and them ask questions. So let's figure that out. Obviously, the location is probably going to be AC Hotel Innovation Gallery in Jamaica. That's my home base. But I don't know. Anybody wants me to do a live one? I'd be willing to look into a live one. Tell me. Let me know. Send me in the comments or direct messages, And let's think about it and go from there. Maybe I should go to somewhere else and not do it in Kingston. Yeah. Kingston gets all the love. Maybe we should go somewhere else. But thank you very much for engaging. I know that you don't have to spend your time with me. You don't have to watch this. You don't have to sit here for the whole thing. So I'm hoping that I provided some information. All right. So Cheryl is saying thank you for your nuggets. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know at least one person got something of value from this. Right? I'm talking to a camera and seeing myself on a screen. But I see the comments and I appreciate it. For those who are going to watch the recording, feel free to reach out. I love these kinds of things. I want to share and pay it forward. I don't need to wait until I'm the CEO of some big public company and I'm multimillionaire to share. I can share what I'm learning today. I can share how it's helping me, how I'm using it, how it's helping the team. And that's all I'm here to do. And that's what motivates me, to be honest. I'm most motivated by doing that. The second thing that motivates me the most is what happened last night. Right? I was going to the movie. I dressed up as Captain America. I spent 30 minutes taking pictures with grandmothers, parents, kids. And the amount of smiles I saw last night made it so worth it. I don't get paid for that. That was just me. I paid to go to the movie. I bought my shield. I loved it. Just put a smile on somebody's face every day and you'll be happy as a person. All right, guys. I am out. I see Divine say I appreciate all the information. Love you guys. So I am out.